Hi, this is Zach from Formula Performance. We're on this side of the camera tonight because we're looking at the 95 YJ Jeep, the Joker Jeep, affectionately known in the shop. Our Raptor liner paint job is holding up well, but the headlights are 95 technology, and as you can see, they're getting some water inside, and they're Jeep headlights, so they're higher up than normal cars. They are just not quite performing up to today's standards. So we're going to install an upgraded LED headlight acquired off of Amazon for about $100. They're 105 watt LED bulbs, so they're supposed to be extremely bright, but they are DOT approved for highway use. They do have plug-and-play adaptivity for daytime running lights. 95 Jeep Wrangler YJ does not have daytime running lights, so we're not going to run anything for that. It does come with an adapter if needed, but from what I understand, we're going to be pretty good to go with the plug-and-play technology. So with that, we're going to take a quick look at what's going to be needed to take these existing headlights out. One of the first things you should do whenever you are working with electronics in the truck is to remove the battery, disconnect the battery. So we're going to start off by removing the battery cable. We're going to pull off the negative terminal, and we'll see you on the other side of that. We're going to dive right into the outside of the engine compartment with a Phillips screwdriver. Start taking off the outer ring. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. I was going to say some shops have power tools that do this real quick, but our tools are human powered, so they take our time.
Zach's being a little facetious here, guys. We do have some electric drills and such, but they do have a tendency to round off the Phillips screw, and Zach's doing his best he can to remove the trim ring. Don't be discouraged, guys. Sometimes the bolts will strip out. You will have to drill them out and replace them. It should only take you a few minutes.
What's really handy to use is one of those metal ashtrays from Harbor Freight that have a magnet in them. Great cheap little invention to hold your parts in place. They're completely non-magnetic though. I did nothing. I'm going to pull the custom red painted trim off. And inside is this metal ring we're talking about, right? So in order to remove that, there's these 4 screws. There's 2 on the bottom and then 2 on the top. I'm going to try very carefully do the screws come all the way out, or are we just loosening them?
You're going to remove the screws completely, guys. Most of the time the screws are going to be stripped or rusted in place. You may have to replace this stainless trim ring around the light. Just take your time, and the screws should come out. What you can do sometimes in a pinch is just remove 2 of the screws from either the top or the bottom and fold down the trim ring enough to remove the light. We're going to see if we can get all 4 out though.
We just lost that screw, that's a problem.
Lucky for Zach, we should be able to find another trim screw in the shop. Not a big deal, guys. These are just sort of generic Phillips screws you can find at any hardware store. Zach can't get the screw out, we're going to leave it in place and just bend down the trim ring. There we go. Alright, the trim ring is removed, and now you can pull the light out enough to disconnect. There's a electrical connection in the back. You're going to have to wiggle it off. You might be able to snake your hand right behind it and just gently move it back and forth until it'll remove.
Is there a pull on it? Like a tab to release?
There is no tab, it just slides off. There we go. There's the old headlight. There is the connector that is inside the housing.
As you guys can see, they are the same shape and size, but hopefully substantially brighter. Take this one.
Okay.
And simple plug and play.
You can access this plug on the back side of the holder, so if it happens to be a little loose or the connections seem to be a little corroded, you can get to it and clean it out and make any adjustments as necessary. These headlights are going to be marked with DOT. That side goes facing up. The install is the reverse of the removal. It's fairly straightforward. It's going to be 4 bolts for the trim ring, or excuse me, 4 screws for the trim ring and 4 screws for the plastic cover that goes on the outside by the grill.
One thing that Kevin has taught me is you don't tighten the bolts down or the screws in all the way till you have them all in, because if you tighten them down all the way, then you're not going to be able to adjust it. Are these the screws that adjust the positioning of the headlight? Okay.
The 4 screws that hold the trim ring on do not adjust the position of the light. There is additional screws behind the grill that you use to adjust the light left and right and up and down. Plastic trim is reinstalled with 4 Phillips screws. Simple installation, should take you less than 10 minutes to do both sides. Okay guys, you can see the difference between the LED upgraded headlight and the old halogen headlight.
the Joker Jeep, and it was a shop truck a few years ago, done very nice for us. But as you can see, the headlights are old school halogen headlights that suck in the bad weather. Start that over again so we don't have foul language. You don't care about that?